So after a couple hours of milling, some chip management here, we got the blade shape laid back at a 30-degree angle. And I might have to clean up a little grinder. I got a little, kind of hard to get that weird angle in there with a manual mill. I was using an 1 3/4 inch roughing mill. I'll probably just go back in there with a smaller mill and clean that up. Clean that one up there. But overall, that's the Moosinator 9000 blade right there. That's 1/2 of it. Actually 1/3 of it. So we got her nice and sharp here, 30-degree angle. We are taking about 3/8 of an inch off per pass with this mill, and did pretty good. Just got to clean up those corners. A really nice little edge there. That's the point edge in there to keep the log from jumping up and down when we go to split. Grab hold of it. So that's the whole blade. Alright guys, so I've got my blades made and I've double stacked them right here, 2 1-inch blades, inside to inside. So I've got my cutting edges will be to the outside, and I've got to cut, this is my little template for my wing that's going to go through both the blades. So I've scribed my wing out right there, and I'm fixing to start milling. Now I'm going to go through both plates so I don't have any alignment issues. I got them all lined up on the edges and where I want them, and now I'm going to start milling that out. And I've got some relief. I've got, you know, my edge is here and it lines up with that edge, which is going to give me an 8-inch tall piece of wood. And then I've got an inch of relief here, so the blade, instead of being straight, it's tilted so that nothing binds. As it splits, it widens out. Very important, trust me. I made a few mistakes on other things and didn't have that relief, and I found an inch of relief is usually sufficient. So I'm gonna hollow out that pocket. Alright, so I got my hole started. I broke through, and bear in mind, yeah, we're gonna be like that. Okay, so I got the main hole. That's through 2 plates, 2 inches. My mill doesn't have enough travel to get this back corner, so I'll come back and do it. So next I'm going to start on the point here. So I'm going to have to start whittling that point out. Whittling that point out right there, so I can get that to lay in right there. So I'm just going to be downsizing some mills, making some more chips. Took me a while to get that slot cut, but I went slow. Using a 3/4 inch roughing mill. I'm just cleaning up the back edge, and I clean up the sides, just making everything look pretty. As we flame cut this, just using a 1-inch roughing mill, making a slow pass, just for appearances. Guys, we're out here on the dock today. It's a nice day, so I figured I'd do some welding. Doing some blade hardening. You know, I've got my blades here for my log splitter. You know, they're just mild steel, 1-inch thick, but I want to harden the edge. So how do you do that? The cheap, easy way. Let me show you. So I took and I welded the edge. I started out kind of flat. I started out with them flat using a piece of aluminum. I got a 1-inch piece of aluminum that I backed it with back here. Focus. I backed the back, clamped it to the back side, and then welded the edge. Okay, welded that edge. Now it ate it up. Trust me. I did a big rod, lowest heat I could possibly go, and with that aluminum it kept it from dripping. And then I cleaned it, ground it smooth a little bit, and I just started working on my welds and building them up on the front and the back. So I've got probably almost a ½ inch deep back here of weld, maybe not quite a ½ inch, about a ½ inch of weld. So my edge now is going to be welding rod, which I used a 70-18 and some 70-24 for when I was perfectly flat. Now I'll take that back in the mill, and I'll mill off this backside flat, and then I'll either grind or mill this front edge. I haven't decided. That's going to give me a hardened edge on that blade. The other way is, you can cherry it and start getting use old motor oil or a bunch of other techniques. But I find this works best. So we'll mill it up, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Alright, so we've got the splitting head mocked up and going to get it fastened. She looks kind of mean. I put some 1/4 inch wedges here. They're just mocked up. I'll fix it later. So on each side I got a 1/4 inch wedge, so that I've spread the back end out a ½ inch from the front end, so that the wood has relief coming through. And then if you look here, I've got this blade, tilted forward, so that the wood. I don't have anything to bind down here, but but it still has relief underneath it. There you go. That's about a week and a half worth of the work right there to get to that point. Alright, so we've got her bolted on. I used some 1.5 inch grade 5 bolts. Actually, they're threaded rod with nuts. I've got this block in here to keep my spacing while I do some welding on it, so don't shrink up. That's a pretty mean looking head. It's looking pretty good.